What does the future hold? I predict the Dolphins will win this week. Maybe if the Cowboys think it's their bye week and don't show up. What's crackle, it's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know so. Go ahead, give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you're enjoying the content. And we're back for another week of predictions. Didn't do half bad last week. We went 11-5, puts us at 23-8-1 on the season. But I'm just warming up. I was pretty close on that Seahawks-Steelers game. I was off by 2 points. A lot of the other games I was off by like 20, but it is what it is. But another week of predictions. We're going to go over week 3, and we're going to start with the Thursday night game being Tennessee versus Jacksonville. I know Tennessee has a great defense. So they're 2 in sacks. They have the most turnovers of any team. They're a good defense. In Jacksonville, they're starting Gardner Minshew, who is a rookie. But I have little faith in Mariota. Little faith. And I think somehow, I know with all the dysfunction going on in Jacksonville, they will pull this game out. I have them winning 20-17. I know it's wild, it's crazy, it's so crazy, it might happen. Dolphins at the Cowboys. It's not really a question who will win this game. I got Cowboys winning 31-7. It's a question if the Dolphins will score. I think they might. This might be the week we get a touchdown. This might be the week, but this should be a really good game for Cowboys players fantasy-wise. So, you're welcome, fantasy owners. You're welcome. Next, we got the Bengals versus the Bills. I thought the Bengals really turned over a new leaf, man. I thought they were going to be blasting on all cylinders. I believed into the Zach Taylor offense, which still looked fairly decent, if not for, it's garbage time. But Josh Allen has looked amazing. I think they win this one 26-17. I think the Bengals will put up some points here, but I've been so impressed with Josh Allen and his play this season. And it's crazy. We're talking about the Bills going 3-0. Next, let's talk about the Broncos versus the Packers. Oh boy, Packers, they came out, they played well last week. And you know what? I give Joe Flacco a lot of flack on this channel, but he's played well enough for them to win games. So I expect a little more of the same, except for that Packer defense is savage. It's savage. So for all that credit I just gave Flacco, I think he's only going to lead them to 13 points. I got them losing this game 24-13. I think the Packer offense looks a little bit better. They didn't look spectacular last week. The run game looked great, much improved. But I'm still waiting for Aaron Rodgers to kind of pop off. Next, we got Falcons versus the Colts in a very interesting matchup because the Falcons haven't played that well. Matt Ryan, in a win, he had 3 interceptions. This offensive line hasn't been that good after they invested 2 first-round picks. Just a bunch of question marks. It's really been the Colts that have impressed me. And I knew Fred Kitchens was gonna keep this team competitive, but wow, man. I'm very impressed. I think the Colts actually come in, and I think they're going to win this one as well. It's going to be, I think it's going to be a tight game. It's going to be a very interesting game. I trust Jacoby Brissett. He's been very mistake-free. He hasn't really blown the tops off defenses, but I think this will be a good week for them, 27-19. Lamar Jackson versus Patrick Mahomes, fantasy quarterback gods. Who is going to win this matchup? I don't think anyone could stop the Chiefs right now at this point. It doesn't matter who Mahomes is throwing to, and he's gonna go. I think he's gonna go over the top of this defense. And that secondary looks a little bit of a liability, at least with on the outside with their corners. I have them win this one 37-23. I do think the Ravens do very well on offense, but I don't think they can just keep up with this Chief offense. They're insane. They're nuts, man. Now we got the Raiders versus Minnesota. Both teams, after a pretty stellar week 1, they came out and kind of put up a dud. It's really, who do you pick? Who do you think's the better quarterback, David Carr or Kirk Cousins? I know Kirk Cousins is he hasn't really impressed much people, and There's going to be some lobbying for them to draft a quarterback in the next 2 years, but I think he's better than Derek Carr, and he performs well against teams that are 500 or below, and I think that's where the Raiders will fall this year. I got them winning a close one, 24-17. Let's take a look at the Jets. The Luke Falk-led Jets against the Patriots. Let me predict this one. I predict a blowout. I predict the Patriots are going to win this one 31-10. I don't see, even with Sam Darnold, I don't see this Jets team bringing a lot of offense. That's not Le'Veon Bell. So, and it's a tough matchup against a really good defense. Bill Belichick has that defense playing very well, which in the offseason was a bit of a concern. It ain't a concern no more. Eagles versus Detroit. Carson Wentz, man, is he going to be able to rebound after a rough week there against Atlanta? They're without Deshaun Jackson. They're without Alshon Jeffrey, but that defense is, at least that defensive front seven is really good. I don't think the Lions have what it takes to keep up. They did have a really good win last week against the Chargers, but we know the Chargers, that's what the Chargers do. They throw out stinkers every now and then, every blue moon, you can say. I got the Eagles winning this one 24-20. I do think it's going to be kept tight. So, at least that's interesting. Panthers versus the Cardinals. Cam Newton. I don't care who's starting for the Panthers. Man, the Cam Newton just looked terrible, and I can only imagine Kyler. I think, what is it? Kyler Nash? Kyle Allen. There we go. I'm thinking of Kyler Murray. Kyle Allen, I can only imagine he will look worse for this offense. I think the defense will keep them in it, but I think Kyler Murray is going to come away with his first W of the year. He's going to have a sexy 1-1-1 record. I got the Cardinals winning 24-16. Giants versus the Bucks, and I was so tempted. Daniel Jones starting this week. I was so tempted to give him the W, but then I remembered he doesn't have any receivers. Sterling Shepard's going to be out with a concussion. Let's be honest, this Bucks team, especially the defense has looked very good, and the Giants aren't gonna, and I don't think they're as good as they've looked. I think they've played some offenses that have, like the 49ers, they kind of stumbled out of the blocks in week 1, and the Panthers, Cam Newton's just looked bad. So I don't think they've really played any good offenses yet. Fortunately enough, the Giants aren't a good offense. I have them winning 20-14. I really liked how Jameis Winston looked last week, and he has a very favorable matchup against this secondary, especially DeAndre Baker. I don't know why I blanked on his name, but he's looked really bad to start the year here. So I got the Bucks. They're gonna be winning this one 20-14. Next, we got the Chargers versus the Texans in what honestly could be a very good game. But I think surprisingly it might be a low scoring game. I was shocked when the Chargers only put up 10 points last week. And that's weird. That is so weird. And you know what? The offensive line has really been a liability for this team, and losing Hunter Henry has been big. And you know what? I think the Texans come back. They do enough to win. They're going to win this one 17-14. I didn't like how they looked last week, but I do believe that offense will look better going forward, especially in a so-so division. Next, we got Steelers versus the 49ers. I don't care that the Steelers traded for Mika Fitzpatrick. They got Mason Rudolph, who was making his first start here. This is a tough matchup. This 49er defense has been really good this year. They have been really good, especially the secondary. I was surprised that the secondaries looked so good this season. I do expect the Steelers to keep this one close, but I think Jimmy G is going to come out and he's be like, you know what? That defense looks vulnerable. And he's going to lick his chops and he's going to say, we're going to win this one 27-21. You know what? I might have a bias here because I'm a big Dolphins fan. Maybe I'm just hoping the Steelers tank so we could get a top 5, top 10 pick. Have 2 of those in the first round. Woo! Now I'm licking my chops. It's all about the Saints versus the Seahawks. Very unfortunate what happened to Drew Brees. I think that will play obviously it'll play a key role in this game, but Teddy Bridgewater didn't look that good. I expect him to look better, but I think the Seahawks they will do enough on offense to win this game, and I actually have them winning this game handedly, 28-13. I like Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is a winner, and he's going to win this game. Next, we have the Sunday night game, St. Louis Rams versus the Cleveland Browns. This ought to be a very fun game. I think the only way, though, the Browns stay in this game if they're ready for a shootout. I know that Browns defense has looked much better, but this is still a Todd Gurley, Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, Brandon Cooks. This offense looks extremely good, even if Jared Cook has kind of been so-so to start the year. I say they win this one 31-17. And let's talk about that defense. That Rams defense is wild. And hopefully I didn't call him St. Louis in this video. Man, I miss the St. Louis Rams. Greatest show on turf. But I still think the Browns are going to have some growing pains. They will be better as the season goes. But that offense didn't look that great to me against a Jets team that looked like it was about to just implode on itself. And we have the Monday night game, Bears versus the Redskins. I wonder if anyone's going to be watching, but this is going to be a good game, I think. Because the Redskins, they have looked like a very good team. They've been competitive in all of their games this year, and I didn't expect that. Their secondary is still pretty terrible, but luckily Mitch Trubisky's pretty bad himself. I think the Bears, their defense will come through. I think they'll win this one 23-19. I do think it's going to be close, and I look forward to see what Case Keenum and Terry McLaurin will do against his defense, because I know the run game's shut down. But how will they try to score the ball against this defense? Like I said, it's a good defense. And that's a weird thing to say. I'm excited for Case Keenum and Terry McLaurin. Man, weird time we live in, 2019. That's it for the video. Let me know who you think's going to win and why in the comment section below. But until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.